Hello, and welcome to Cosmere Conundrum. I'm your host, Nemo,
And I'm Roman.
and together we are finally starting the second book of Mistborn, The Well of Ascension.
Can we call it finally?
Well, it's been, 2 weeks since we last recorded? So yeah.
No, it wasn't. We recorded last week.
The review, yes, but,
We recorded the recap last week.
it's
It's
fine.
been a while since we've actually done chapters of a book.
Yes.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. And finally for, YouTube as well. It's been, 3-4 months since we started uploading, but yes.
Something like that if the upload schedule works.
I'm gonna be faster anyway.
Liar!
Let's begin with part 1, which starts with I write these
Well,
words.
let's first name the book.
I did. I said it's the Well of Ascension.
Did you? I can't remember.
I distinctly remember saying it. But yes.
Right. Yes, the book number 2, The Well of Ascension. Gosh, I wonder what the book is gonna be about.
Who knows?
Not
Anyway.
as much of a harder guess if you've got context for what happens in the stories and such.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, this was mentioned in the first book. It's a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and where the first book ended, this seems like a natural progression of things.
Yeah. We get before we get to part 1, we get the same maps again.
Yeah. It's just fine. Yeah. Anyway.
And then we get, oh joy, the epigraphs are back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the first one that starts with is I write these words in steel, for anything not set in metal cannot be trusted. Which is an interesting, yeah.
Yes, but it's pretty easy to figure out that it's someone who works with either ferrochemical elements,
Pretty much seems like the case.
Yeah, also the title of the part is Heir of the Survivor.
Yes.
Which, in effect, in this, the first can technically apply to 2 people.
What do you mean?
Heir is in the new ruler of the empire, and heir is in Finn.
But for the survivor,
it's Finn.
Yeah.
It's Vin. It's painfully obviously Vin.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, let's begin with chapter 1, and we begin with King Ellen Venture standing atop this little city wall, looking at.
Yes, don't worry. It doesn't start with ash fell from the sky. That's 2 sentences later.
Yeah. Yeah, the ash is darker, which means the ash mounds are noticeably more active these days.
Yeah, it's very much more ash than normal, which could have seen that one coming a little.
Makes sense.
I think we got a mention of it in the last book as well, that they were getting harsher as well then.
Yeah, we did get a mention of it.
And it was a very mild winter, and there was more ash than there was snow, or something akin to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anyway, he is standing there with Ham, looking at this approaching army of 50,000 soldiers that is moving towards them.
Bit of a big army.
Yeah, given that Ellen mentions his own army being of 20,000 people who have had training for 1 year.
Admittedly, men on walls are stronger than men on the ground. The problem is Luthadel is enormous.
Yeah.
And that 20,000 is spread across enormous city walls.
Exactly. And given that we know that Luthadel can hold about 1 million people, yeah.
It's a relatively, for the fact that they're not hamstrung by population, they're hamstrung by resources. They just don't have the money and the food.
Yeah, and we will even see that later on. Ellen wondering about it. Anyway, it has been a year since the revolution, and the economy of Luthadel is in shambles, as we predicted, pretty much.
It was inevitable.
Yeah.
The moment they didn't have ATM, the moment they were pretty much just a revolution, which was one city.
Yeah, that seems like the par for the course. Anyway, Ellen asks Ham for advice, but Ham says that it was Kelsier who did all the planning, and Ellen feels like he's going to lose everything that Kelsier and his crew worked to accomplish. Which, for a new king, a 20-year-old who has had theoretical knowledge at this point. Yeah, 22 years old. Who has only had theoretical knowledge at this point. Yeah, pretty much.
I can't imagine doing it.
Neither can I. and we are both older than him, noticeably.
Don't remind me.
Anyway, then we learn that the army that is coming to Luthadel belongs to Lord Strathventure. And
gosh, could have seen that one coming. In fact, I did.
Yeah, I mean, you basically predicted at the end of the last book that Strath will come back after consolidating
if
power.
Strath has escaped the city, he'll be the one who's the main the villain in the next book.
Yeah,
because it's very easy to predict because it's relatively well set up.
Yeah, pretty much. And we learn that he has basically consolidated power, I think later on, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Ham asks...
We also learn of the state of the crew.
Yeah,
where Breeze is missing.
Doxon and Spook were on errands where Doxon returned today.
Yeah, I can only imagine that for Spook it might have been lookout in a region, and for Doxon it might have been get as much food into this city as possible.
That seems like it, because that was the job Doxon was doing even before.
Yeah, exactly. We have no mention of Sazed at all in these 3 chapters.
No.
I will point that out. Something I noted very clearly.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
With hints, we can figure out Marge is in the city.
Probably, yeah.
Because he's not mentioned as being outside the city, and he's pretty notable as the Inquisitor of the group. So.
Yeah, and Clubs might be at his shop, like always.
And Clubs probably desperately trying to train more troops.
Pretty much, yeah. That makes sense.
So.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a crew meeting. Well, as much of a crew meeting as they can with the smaller crew they have at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, which is... I mean, they are like, 3 people? So at least Doxon is somewhat resourceful, so that helps, definitely.
They have the military team.
Not so much a strategy. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, and then... Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say Ham asks if Ellen can talk it out with his father, and it says maybe if the assembly doesn't surrender first. Which is quite funny. And we'll learn later on what the assembly is and what they are doing. But the fact that he did not take the absolute power is quite admirable even in this case. And yeah, which... I mean, he'll definitely face issues as we see later on, but you win some, you lose some anyway.
I mean, I'm glad he set up an assembly.
Yeah.
We'll learn later that he requested a decision.
Anyway, we then move to Vin, who is moving through the dark streets of Luthadel, and...
Well, I want to point out is that Ham asks where Vin is, and Ellen's like, I've got no clue, and he's not even he paused, but he's not concerned.
No.
It's pretty clearly still very normal for Vin to just disappear.
And makes sense. I mean, even in last book, we sort of learned that Vin is more comfortable being alone, being in the dark, sort of having a general view of everything, knowing everything is where Vin is most comfortable. And that makes sense that she'll be doing the exact same thing a year later as well, even though things have changed, but not really in that regard.
Yeah. When we get to Vin, like Vin says, nothing's really changed. The scars still stay indoors at night.
Yeah, and while she enjoys the mist, it's still like looked at with reverence/fear by all the other people.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, she likes being an Unlancer. She says that it gives her sort of an edge against people who might underestimate
just
her
a
stature.
Slight edge. She's only comparatively Superman against grunts.
Yeah, also her being short of stature adds to the fact that she can appear harmless.
She's thin and small. That is not going to instill fear in people.
No, but yeah, that's what she says, that it gives her advantage in fights like this, and she very much uses that later as well.
She's incredibly quick, which is her biggest advantage.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, she crouches beside a building, trying to see if there's any movement, because she has been feeling like she's been being followed. And she tosses a coin, but nothing really jumps out to her. And Ursur, the Kandra, who was impersonating Lord Renu, comes to her.
I'm tempted to still. I am tempted to continue to call him Renew.
For the time being, yeah, that makes most sense. Because that's what we more or less knew him as in the entirety of first book. So
it's not helped by the fact that in the audiobook it's the same voice. Like the voice doesn't change at all. So
yeah. Ursa is wearing a new body, of course. He's not Renew anymore, and not really Kelsier as well. Probably for the best. Anyway, Vin.
But
yes, he asked Vin if she found what she was looking for, and Vin says that she was probably wrong, and there doesn't seem to be anyone following her. Though there is someone who she dubs as the Watcher, who has apparently been stalking her for quite a long time at this point.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which is an interesting one. I mean, we'll learn a bit more about the Watcher in the next chapter, and I'm very confused.
Yeah, it seems confusing. Like we'll get to it in the next chapter.
I have a few guesses at the moment, but they're not yet intact. Ready?
Yeah. Anyway, Vin decides to go back, and that's when she gets attacked, and that's how the chapter ends, basically. Yeah. In the epigraph,
which I want to point out this is officially called Chapter 1, but it's fair to call this a prologue.
Yeah, pretty much we are setting up things with how Elend is doing, how Vin is doing, and what is the general lay of the land.
Yeah, and then we end with a point of now the action. This is when the title card of the book would be displayed.
Yeah, it's more of a cold open. I wouldn't say it's a prologue, because prologue is usually very distinct from the entirety of the book. But yeah, it's more of a cold
especially
open.
with the mostly action chapter the next one is.
Yeah, definitely so.
Hey, look, epigraph.
Yeah, in the epigraph, the author wonders if the others can't see what he can, and he wonders if the people are so desperate to see the hero of ages that they are applying all the prophecies to this one man. The man who was probably the one writing the previous epigraphs, but we'll learn that later.
Yeah, we can infer that at this point already.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, that's how the epigraph ends as well. Not much to say in this epigraph. It's pretty much like...
This is why I'm very glad we did the first 3 chapters, because by the end of it we have... I don't need to guess, basically, who's writing this.
Yeah. I think...
And we learn enough details that you can put it together.
Yeah, I do think that we did learn about this person in the last book somewhat.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We absolutely did.
And that makes...
He was mentioned. So it makes it very interesting that we're now following this guy.
Yeah. Especially, like, the last one, we thought it to be the Lord Ruler, and it turned out to be not.
Now we actually have an author just acknowledging who they are in chapter 3.
Yeah. So...
It really helps.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, how is his story going to contribute to whatever happened to this guy last time? Because we don't have the entire story. We don't really know what happened between Rashek and...
I mean, one of the big things is going to be with regard to the Lord Ruler in the end.
Exactly.
When it isn't the guy he was promoting, and he's like, uh-oh.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
I feel like he might come to regret not continuing to support the writer of the previous book.
That would make sense. At least he was, like, throughout the book, he was, like, struggling with his morality, but trying to do the good things.
Well, no, not about that. It's about the fact that, we'll get that at the end of the third chapter. I think that's better to put it there. Yeah, because we have an action chapter to do.
Yeah, so chapter 2, which is pretty much action, but it also reintroduces...
It's actually a little bit of expansion. There's a bit at the end, which is very interesting about converse, but that's...
Yeah, it also reintroduces allomancy, if you didn't really, like, if you have forgotten about it, and what it is, what the other metals do, what happens, what is a Mistborn, and so on.
Yes.
This chapter
as Mike Schubert says in his podcast, if you've happened to miss the previous book or / books...
I mean, why would you? But fair enough.
Yes. But it is a good reintroduction, especially because this does show that Vin has gained skill in this.
Yeah.
Like, Vin once more puts herself down quite a bit. She still does that quite a lot.
Yeah.
She kills 7 elements in a Mistborn this chapter. With assistance, but it's very minor assistance comparatively.
Yeah, and
she still does it.
We'll get to
even
that.
when she... she's showing insane skill here.
Yeah, the fight begins, and when automatically, like her first instinct is to ask Ursa to flee. Then she starts engaging them. Well, first of all, she deflects the coins that are being shot at her, and as the 8 allomancers sort of appear from the darkness, very much cinematic, and Vin quickly realizes that none of them are the Watcher, and they're probably sent by Staff Venture to kill Ellen, which makes sense.
Which is a logical deduction to make in the moment.
Yeah, given that his army just
he
arrived.
Literally just appeared outside the city with an army. It makes sense that he'd use the opportunity to sneak through an assassination team in.
Yeah, definitely so. Vin doesn't want to run because then they'll go after Ellen, so she flares her pewter and then gets ready, basically. And at this point, she also deduces that the team consists of 4 thugs, 2 coin shots, 1 lurcher, and a smoker, pretty much.
Which is a powerful team.
Yeah, it seems like a decent match.
What I can tell from this is a team that is relying a bit on brute force.
Oh yeah, pretty much. I mean, we also
4 thugs is brute force. We know that thugs are very much brute force incarnate.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we did learn that in the last book that coin shots and lurchers are comparatively rarer compared to like thugs and
thugs are easily pretty damn common, but it's still very obvious this is a team relying on brute force to barge their way through.
And we learned why. They were a bit overconfident in their strategy, but yeah.
It was a good strategy, to be fair. They just weren't taking into account they were facing a very powerful Mistborn.
Yeah, and someone who
was very good at being very quick.
Yeah. Vin thinks about Kelsier, how he could have easily handled these people because he fought off an Inquisitor and killed him, but she's not like Kelsier.
Except we know from the chapter very early on in the first book when he infiltrates Keep Venture to get the 18, he'd still struggle.
Oh yeah, easily. Even in the fight against that Inquisitor, he struggled quite a bit trying to get rid of him. So
but it's very logical. She's basically putting Kel up as invincible. Unless he went up against the Lord Ruler. And Vin is just casually forgetting that she defeated the Lord Ruler.
I mean, she puts herself as lucky later on, so makes sense.
Yeah, she's not accepting her sheer skill level.
Yeah, easily. She also doesn't know that her not being like Kelsier is whether it is a bad thing or a good thing, which is quite funny. Anyway, Vin tries to jump away, but gets thwarted.
Yeah, what I like about this is that we get a bit of an explanation of what each of the members of this group are doing, especially a bit later. For the Lurcher is carrying a shield because he can only pull things towards him, so he needs a shield to hide behind.
That makes sense, and
which is a very small thing to do. And was it the Smoker? Is carrying sound sticks.
Yeah. To disorient it.
Again, very smart.
A tin burner, yeah.
Because he's not a fighter, but it gives him something to do as well. And also someone should have this with him if they encounter a Mistborn. So
yeah.
I do feel like we know why, but it does feel interesting that they didn't bring a Tin Eye with them.
Yeah, that makes
they don't have we know why they don't have a scout with them, but they don't have a scout with them. Yeah,
that is weird.
We know why.
I mean, yeah, we do learn why, but that is still quite weird. Yeah.
But I'd imagine you'd want to put someone who can scout for you, who can spot things from afar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Especially if you're trying to be sneaky, so someone who can hear approaching guards might be useful. But obviously they have a Mistborn, so yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll let later on, but yeah. She starts fighting them as thugs sort of advance on her, and she dodges them. Slashes one of them open with her daggers as she's again also fighting off the coin shots who are constantly pelting her with like coins, and also have basically taken her coin pouch away from her.
Mm-hmm.
Finn.
We get Finn having a moment of doubt because she thinks because she says about how this is the Mistborn who slew the Lord Ruler.
Yeah.
How can that be possible? She was, I wondered the same thing myself, and I just went, oh, for fuck's sake.
I mean, we learned
it makes sense. It's perfectly in character for Finn. That's not the issue. It's just quite funny and annoying.
I mean, I think she'll do that throughout this book. That seems to be her character.
Absolutely.
But yeah. Then she gets in sort of a test of strength with one of the coin shots as they are pushing on the coins, and both of them fly backwards. She also redirects the coins and manages to kill one of the coin shot, which is quite interesting. She then tries to go for the other coin shot, but someone throws a coin in her way, and she has to avoid.
I want to point, I want to point something out. Just the sheer level of Finn's skill is when she's pushed back, she lands, she rolls, and just immediately flips on her feet again.
Yeah, she is very dexterous. Dexterous? Yeah.
She is very much a rogue.
Yeah.
This is literally the ultimate rogue move.
I mean, we both know that dexterity is the most broken stat in D&D. So yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, you're talking to a guy who does like to play rogues.
Yeah. But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, she is very skilled at not just allomancy, but also like even the physical aspects of fighting, like dagger uses and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
it's mainly speed. She's very much using speed.
Yeah. She then realizes that the Watcher is at least trying to help her in some way, though she doesn't know why.
Yeah, because it's very interesting. He basically gives her he distracts them.
Yeah, pretty much. She then gets attacked by the thugs and just tanks one of the blow because of her pewter, and goes after the coin shots. And with the help of like her iron and pewter and other stuff, ends up killing both the coin shot and the thug, or so we think. Then
interesting that this is the guy who got a dagger in his chest, right?
Yeah, I think. So.
The power of pewter.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's exactly why he does what he does later on. She then goes for the lurcher and swiftly gets thwarted by the smoker. Now, this is a very interesting strategy that we talked about earlier with the smoker and the sticks that he bangs together to make a loud enough noise to disorient anyone who's burning tin. Which, makes sense that someone would come up with that idea, which in a world of Mistborns. It's interesting, however, that he doesn't really know how to fight like a lot, which I would expect at least you would have some kind of training for fighting.
I mean, it's showing that there's not much skill.
Yeah, I mean, even Ben later says that even the Mistborn wasn't really very skilled, which quite interesting.
Which is actually, when you think about it, it indicates of what we learn in the next chapter. We won't talk about that, but we learn in the next chapter that this is interesting.
Yeah. Then she tries to attack like the smoker, but Lurcher protects him, and then Vin basically throws a coin behind him and then pulls it through him and killing the Lurcher instantly, which is quite interesting.
Brilliant move. Brilliant move.
It's very
because he couldn't defend against that.
Especially like in a flurry of coins, you don't really know where what landed, and Vin swiftly manages to get one of them behind him, which is quite okay. We can see how she thinks on her feet, trying to fight off like the people around her, which makes sense for her. Anyway, then only
that is when that is when the Watcher suddenly shoots a coin straight into the forehead of the smoker.
Yeah, and Vin wonders why. and her mind goes into overdrive trying to think of every possible reason. And,
She immediately realizes,
yeah,
oh crap.
something is wrong. And she realizes there is a Mistborn amongst them, and she immediately calls for Osir, well, with a bit of a
Through a
hidden
code
message.
word.
And Osir gives her ATM, which she burns, and quickly then the other Mistborn who was trying to attack her freezes in his path because he doesn't know what to do. Now they are both matched, equal.
So it's not the first gunshot, it's the second gunshot, the one she basically seemed to break the neck off, who manages to get up. And it's like, honestly, stupid move.
Yeah.
Half your team has already been killed. How stupid can you be?
Yeah, I mean, he waited a bit too long, I think.
He should have just... If he'd just burnt his own ATM, he could have already gotten the drop on her.
Yeah. It's just being...
But what we do get a little later, I think what we get pointed out about the ATM shortage is everyone's suffering from the ATM shortage.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, Vin quickly dispatches everyone left, the thugs, and manages to...
Yeah, well, the wonders of ATM.
Yeah, and manages...
This is why we have a shortage of ATM in this book. It's because ATM is a little overpowered.
Pretty much, that makes sense. Then the other Mistborn runs out of his ATM, and Finn kills him with his own daggers. Yeah. Anyway.
To be fair, we do get a lovely situation where Vin shows no regard for Osir.
No. I mean, to be fair, she knows he's a Kandra who can survive these things. So
she knows this is a person who a year ago survived an axe in the back.
Yeah. Which, yeah, fair enough that she wouldn't really do much. Anyway, Finn looks at the Watcher and wonders why he saved her. After basically stalking her for months as he jumps away. She then goes to Osir, whose body is in complete disarray because of the coins. And he says that he wants a new body.
Yeah, but I love the fact that Osir and Vin so clearly have a not so good relationship. No. And it's like Vin's saying, I didn't expect it to be blood. And I'm just like, oh, Vin.
I mean, it's a body. There should be blood. Anyway.
And I get the whole thing about Vin's prejudice against him. And she's not wrong. This is objectively disgusting.
It is, but he's also a very useful ally to have.
He is. Doesn't mean it's not disgusting.
In a world where such things exist, would you consider it too disgusting?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Well, considering this is the person who effectively ate your mentor's body.
Fair. That is probably the reason why she's...
That is very much the reason.
Yeah, she's more prejudiced against him than anything else.
That's literally what she said in the epilogue.
Yeah.
Last book. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She doesn't really seem to have a choice.
Yeah. Vin, though, thanks him for the ATM, obviously, and Osir says that he'll need a new body and asks if he can take the body of one of these assassins, and Vin instantly refuses.
Yeah, and I feel like it's more to do with Vin just not wanting to see that.
No, yeah, pretty much, I think so.
Else.
Yeah. She then asks Osir to basically go to the palace.
To bugger off, basically.
Yeah. Osir does say that Vin will have to find him a body because he is not allowed to kill. Which is quite interesting that he mentions...
He cannot be forced to kill.
Yeah, he mentions the contract, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, we do... after Kelsier passed, it basically passed on to Vin, and Vin is now the master of the Osir.
Yeah, but what we then get is basically that was the last of the ATM.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh crap.
Yeah, she wonders what will happen if another group of assassins.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the chapter ends.
And also, I want to put it. The sentence, somehow she suspected that this night would mark a distinct turning point in the fate of the Central Dominance. Obviously, she's talking about the atrium, but it's also like, yes, it's because we're following the story again.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a very convenient sort of point
Mm-hmm.
to introduce everything. Like, she manages to keep like 6 ATM beats running for a year, of which she used like what, 1 or 2 during the palace fight. So yeah,
I don't even know if that's included.
yeah, fair.
I
But
can't
still,
remember if it was included in that.
yeah.
But yeah, that's oof.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they no longer have ATM.
No.
But as I said, the fact that the attacking Mistborn's ATM ran out before hers does to me imply that everyone is suffering massively from an ATM shortage. And the one house that I don't expect to have an ATM shortage would be Venture.
Yeah, that would make sense. Especially like
the one house which I can imagine that they still had a decent stockpile. Not massive, but a decent enough one. Especially with the fact that Straff has consolidated all his lands. An entire dominance is under his control.
Mm-hmm.
He has an army of 50,000, implies he's got resources for weeks.
Yeah, it really depends on how much control the Lord Ruler allowed the Ventures over like ATM itself.
I wouldn't be surprised if there happened to be a time of surplus, they might have nicked a little bit.
That would make sense, yeah.
But Cal did steal a bunch, so...
Yeah, they were the first house that Kel raided in order to get the ATM. So it makes sense that they even if they run out of it, yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, in the epigraph, the author states that his people aren't listening to him and are ignoring the strange things that are going on around him. And this is very much the things that were mentioned last time as well with the epigraphs, with how Quan has turned on the hero of ages, and how the other people aren't really listening to Quan and so on. It's the same thing, but from a different perspective, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and the implication here is very much this, that Quan has managed to see that, no, he has all the signs of it, but it doesn't line up with any of the other prophecies.
That makes sense, yeah.
That is basically what's going on here. The other prophecies don't align.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very much your pick and choose kind of thing. Like, this matches, so yeah, this you'll apply that to him, and you'll popularize that story more than the ones that don't really match. But yeah, that makes sense. That's how the chapter basically ends. Chapter 3.
Chapter 3.
Yeah, we begin with Elend as he's drafting his proposal to the assembly.
Yes, and you will not be surprised. I've really enjoyed the first part of this chapter quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a lot of politics.
Yeah, Elend is quite frustrated that while he knows how politics works theoretically, implementing it in practice has been a pain. Because
the bane of every philosopher.
Yeah, I mean, I was laughing at this. I mean, I knew this would happen, but it's still very funny to see it in action.
I mean, this is basically the thing with every single political theory ever. It's amazing in theory.
Yeah.
Implementing is a bit more difficult.
Yeah, like he says that he set up a parliamentary council, which later on he says that has 24 members. And there are factions already in the parliamentary council. Some of them want a peace treaty.
Yeah, the assembly. It's outright called the assembly.
Yeah, the assembly, yeah. Some of them want a peace treaty, some of them want to surrender, and some of them want to outright attack, which they don't have the manpower for.
No. It's... the big thing that's with the army is that we know Mistborn can wreck armies.
Yeah.
The problem is we don't know how many Mistborn House Venture has.
Yeah, we don't know how many Mistborns.
Obviously, Elend will have known, but I wouldn't have put it past Straff if he hadn't kept things from Elend.
Exactly. I mean, given their relationship, I would expect that Straff might have kept things from Elend.
Except Elend does know the Elementals in the retinue, so...
Yes. Yeah, I mean, he
But then
expects
it's
to
been
know
a
that.
year,
Yeah.
and Strife is dominating an entire dominance.
Yeah, and even later on, when in the end of this chapter, Ham comes to talk about the assassins. Ellen says that he expects to know the people involved, but which makes
Mm-hmm.
more like which makes more sense that he would know the people from the Eastern dominance, at least some of them, not all of them, obviously.
Was it Northern? I think. Right?
They were from Western, but Straff is from Eastern dominance. Yeah.
Is he? I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
the Northern. We'll get to it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, uh, lately the option of surrendering has been becoming more lucrative for everyone, and with
Which I'm immediately. Yeah. I think this is when. Is this when Ellen mentions the whole thing of mentioning the assassination attempt? Oh no. The thing is, yeah, Ellen mentioned that he's afraid that of what will happen if he mentions the assassination team to the
mm-hmm,
assembly,
mm-hmm.
because he thinks that maybe the assembly will be scared about the assassin going after them. I'm using that's a pointless fear. Streff's too arrogant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Alan doesn't even
Streff
know his
won't
own
even.
father, which
Yeah, Streff will not. No. The problem is, Alan probably knows like that's not going to happen. The assemblyman,
assembly does.
however,
Mm-hmm.
it's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's jump to Vin.
Yeah, let's while he's wondering this, Vin
Vin is on the roof
on the
of the
rooftop.
of his of
Yeah,
his chambers, and it's like, ah, she's clearly just like, I need. Right, I'm staying near Ellen for the rest of the night. Nope,
yeah,
nope, nope.
and we see this later on as well, which we'll get to. Vin, in the meanwhile, is wondering about how she killed the Lord Ruler and if she just got lucky. Though doing this has obviously made her infamous, and her reputation has helped protect Ellen somewhat, because no one has tried to attack Luthadel until today, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We do learn
Yeah.
that there will always spies and assassins sent to
Oh yeah, obviously
after
they're going to
Ellen.
be trying to sneak into the
Mm-hmm.
palace.
Mm-hmm.
That is very logical. Collapse of an empire, everything's going into chaos.
Yeah, and Finn vows to protect him at all costs, especially from like the assassins and the Watcher, which she mentions. Um, she's
She doesn't care. It doesn't matter what. Alan must survive.
yeah.
Which immediately puts up a death flag over his head.
Anyway, she also worries that even if they are able to deal with Straff Venture, there will be others who will come after
Yeah,
Luthadel.
that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the big thing is if they manage to deal with Straff,
Mm-hmm.
they've dealt with the biggest immediate threat.
Yeah, but that like if you can only hold out so long against like an incessant
Oh yeah, this is a nightmare.
attack. Yeah.
This is a nightmare scenario.
Mm-hmm. Especially like what we learn later on about the assassins. Yeah, pretty much that's the case. Vin is worried, and she burns. Like she's so worried that she burns bronze to
No,
see if there
yeah, but
are
I wanna.
people nearby.
Mm.
And
Yeah, but I like the mention of like he has other Ellen has other bodyguards, and there,
yeah.
there's some elements. There's there, Ham's there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like everyone is stretched to the limits.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we know this because mistings were relatively rare amongst the Scar. And even in the city of 1,000,000, you're gonna have a limited amount compared to the nobility.
Especially given like most of the nobility are either dead or have fled at this point.
Have fled,
Fled
Nemo.
at this
Have
point.
fled.
I was wondering what
Have
the word
fleed.
was.
Yes, have fleed.
Yeah, have fled at this point. Anyway, English is hard.
Mm-hmm. We also get a lovely description of Ellen's appearance, and it's like he doesn't care about his appearance.
No, which
he still doesn't care.
No, but that his not appearing regal enough also puts sort of doubt in the like minds of the people who are underneath him.
But he does. But that's the thing. He when it's an important thing, he does manage. He does put her effort in.
That is fair. Yeah. He's not.
She does manage.
In his own.
The problem is even like. Yeah, he doesn't. But the problem is he doesn't give an air of regalness.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, she then wonders about copper clouds and how she's able to break them, and mentions that how Mars told her that only the Inquisitors are able to break it, and the Lord Ruler, obviously. So
Presumably the Lord Ruler.
yeah, so she doesn't know what makes her special.
Mm-hmm.
She also
Yeah.
doesn't know how she called upon the mist during the battle with
Mm-hmm.
Lord Ruler. Um, there is so much about allomancy that people just do not know, and even Kelsier didn't know, from where her mind sort of goes to Kelsier, and that he shouldn't basically have left them. He should have tried to find another way to
Mm-hmm.
rile up the Scar, basically. Which, yeah, I do you think there might have been another way for Kelsier to do this?
I don't know. I not really. Gel's entire plan was set himself up as a martyr.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
That was the plan.
yeah, we did talk about it last time, that how
And I'm struggling to see how he. If he's managed to like, I don't know. If the Lord Ruler hadn't showed up after killing the Inquisitor, maybe.
yeah, I mean, we did talk about
Because
it
then he
last
solidified his
time as well.
legend at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At that point, he would have solidified his legend, but I don't think it would have had the same effect.
I mean, we did talk about it even during last chapters of the last book, where if he is going to supplant a god, he has to create a new religion, because you can't really take a religion away from someone and not give them anything in return. They'll revolt against you, not their religion, obviously. But yeah, that makes sense. That was probably the only way. Vin is also worried that Kelsier, while he created this situation, the Scar only revere him and put all the blame on Ellen and the others who are trying to do their best given what the situation has been presented to them.
Which that's a logical thing that happens. That is very common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and while she's thinking all of this, she senses something, and she tries to find it. The She senses that someone is burning metal. She tries to burn her own bronze and tries to find the origin of these allomantic pulses, and realizes that it is coming from someone right in front of her, someone who's made of mist.
Yes, I mean, I do want to point out just quickly is that this entire thing is like, okay, she's already scanning at this point.
Yeah, she had been burning bronze and like looking around already at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing, the big thing is that she does mention that only 2 people who are alive know of her ability.
Yeah.
To see through copper clouds.
Yeah, Marsh and Ellen.
And it's like, Marsh makes sense because she needs to ask the questions. And Ellen's like, she's not keeping secrets from Ellen, is she? She cannot say, she cannot for the life of it. Because I fully believe this is because she lied to him about being a noblewoman, she doesn't want to lie to him ever again.
That makes sense. I mean, she very much has abandonment issues. She doesn't want him to leave her.
She does. That's why she says that she will protect Ellen no matter what. If it means abandoning the kingdom, she'd probably drag him out of the city.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, about the mist thing, the body made of mist, she cannot distinguish what metals it is burning.
Yeah, which is odd.
Yeah,
because she's normally pretty clearly skilled at seeking.
Yeah.
So she cannot. Okay, which metal is this? It's not one. It's basically she cannot recognize what it is.
Also, the mist sort of moves towards her, and as soon as she attacks it, it dissipates, which is quite interesting that it is even tracking her at this point, not just like appearing in front of her.
Yeah, the figure though, like it's human, and it's Where is the description?
Yeah, it says that it's a vague figure made out of mist, and
Yeah,
that she would have dismissed it.
it's thin. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's it has a thin body and a long head, but it's definitely human of some kind.
Yeah.
And my instinctive reaction is missed ghosts.
I mean, we have Mr. Rates. Mr. Coasts isn't very
Well,
fast.
that's the thing, and I immediately just went, well, okay. I mean, let's go with it. Cal?
I mean,
I just went, missed ghost. It's the only damn thing with a ghost that I can think of.
yeah,
That would make sense.
we are going full.
We'll probably learn it by the end of this damn book.
Probably. I mean, we are going full force mode with Force Ghosts.
We may as well.
But yeah.
He's had his Obi-Wan Kenobi moment. He might as well have the second Obi-Wan Kenobi moment.
Fair. That makes sense. Anyway.
But yeah, the figure takes a step forward and immediately Finn just goes, coins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's very
just
jumpy and
vanishes.
paranoid, something even Ellen notices later on. I mean, he has been noticing for quite a while. And
yeah, which makes
sense. Yeah.
She's, to be fair, in the next part of the chapter we learn just how paranoid she is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can get to it. We move back to Ellen, who has finally penned down his proposal and feels proud somewhat, as he thinks it will convince the assembly not to surrender. At least not yet.
Yeah. And then we get to a letter sent to Ellen by Straff. And yeah, it's the Northern Dominance.
Yeah.
It says it in the letter.
Yeah, he tells him that he has secured the Northern Dominance and Ellen should hand over the control of the city to Straff.
Yes. Yeah. And what I find interesting is that, yeah, he mentioned that Straff is an imperial nobleman through and through. It is very interesting that all these noblemen were really not happy with the Lord Ruler. They just weren't saying anything. Because the second they hear even a rumor of him being dead, everyone sets themselves up as a ruler.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really have the power to do anything, but now that...
No, but also remember, most of the great houses of the Empire are also gone.
Yeah,
which infinitely weakens Imperial control even more.
Yeah.
On top of that, most of the Inquisitors are dead, so the fear of the Inquisitors will be lessened.
Yeah.
And I get the feeling they might have just sent letters out to the Empire announcing the death of the Lord Ruler. Will it have worked on everyone? No. But will it have worked on the nobility? Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Ellen knows that the Straff is cunning and will do anything to secure Luthadel, especially since it is currently under the rule of his good-for-nothing son. I mean, he doesn't say exactly that, but he pretty much implies that. Anyway.
But
at this
point,
he's
like, okay, maybe I'm going to get. Might be able to get some sleep. I feel that I just need to finish a few things, which is very much like you're playing Civilization. You're like, just one more turn.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, hi Vin.
Yeah.
Vin, I have a door.
Yes.
He basically goes, Vin, I have a door.
I keep the balcony open for you, but she drops from the roof.
Anyway. Just the thing of, I know. And just paranoid.
Yeah.
Starts checking everything. And it's like, this is almost a child looking for the monster under its bed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, she's way too paranoid. And Ellen mentions that she does it way too often. Sometimes she only doesn't do it when, like, she gets self-conscious that Ellen is watching. But otherwise, she does it almost every time that she comes in the room. And Ellen is beginning to understand that this calms her down, so she doesn't really say anything. But yeah, it's paranoia at its best.
It's pure paranoia. We do, however, get an instance of a word that I too could be replaced by another word.
Which one?
Don't think you need to use idiosyncrasies.
Yeah. I mean, for Ellen, he's still learning.
It makes sense for it also makes sense for a nobleman to use more difficult words. It's just one of those things where, like, what does that mean again?
No, it's fine.
It is not exactly a word you use in daily life.
No, but like it's the book. The books are allowed to have good words anyway. Especially given he, as you said, he's a nobleman. He is allowed to use such words. We don't see Vin talking like that. Makes sense. She has not been brought up to talk like that. Again, Ellen is beginning to understand Vin and her Scarthy persona, in addition to the nobleman persona that he always liked. Vin asks him if he's seen something strange, and Ellen jokes if it is
besides you.
Yeah. Vin tells him that the Watcher is in the city again. Vin, again, we see she's not keeping any secrets from Ellen, just telling him everything outright. And Ellen's...
He later literally says like he loves the blunt way of speaking she has.
Yeah. Ellen wonders if...
Probably because he's lived his entire life around nobility who never speak the direct truth.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Vin doesn't care about empty platitudes. She just says what she wants to say.
Yeah, that makes sense. Ellen asks if the Watcher is going to come here tonight, and Vin says that she doesn't think so.
She feels he won't.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough. That's enough for Ellen to accept.
Yeah. She also talks about the mist thing that she just saw. And seeing her sort of response, Ellen basically hugs her.
Yeah, but also just like he makes it like you've been pushing yourself way too much.
Yeah, and we know Vin is the kind of person who would not rest until like she's absolutely sure that nothing bad is going to happen. Because even in the last book, we saw how like what's the word? Not paranoid, but how like jumpy she was going like.
Yeah, jumpy. Yeah. Jumpy is the correct way to use it. She
like at every point, at every movement, she was basically looking around, trying to safeguard
Kel kept
everything.
Making note of that. Kel kept making note of how she went to the corner and always tried to make herself as small as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that makes sense that she.
But she's gotten better by the end of the book.
But again,
not completely, but she's gotten better at it.
Yeah, I mean, 16 years of doing that will not go away in 1 year of not doing that. Especially the 1 year where they are trying to overthrow the empire.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But what I love about it is that Ellen hugs her. Vin doesn't resist, but she still needs to understand. Oh no, this is safe. This is safe. This is safe. It's It hurts to read that because she just instinctively expects to get pain.
Yeah, which is again,
and that's
very sad.
Yikes!
I think that
thanks, Rain.
Yeah, that is also what the reason. Like Ellen mentions that he asked Vin to marry him and she refused. That is also probably the reason why she refused.
I think there's multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Most
one of the
to do
reasons,
with
obviously.
Vin thinks she's not good enough.
Yeah.
There might be a tiny bit of Vin doesn't understand that she's not the best marriage prospect for him, blah, blah, blah. And then there is about 1,000 insecurities.
Yeah. Though Vin does feel safe with him and sort of relaxes in his arm as he holds her, basically. Afterwards, Vin mentions that she used the last ATM that Kelsier had given her. And Ellen starts wondering where the Lord Ruler's ATM cache is, because they have not been able to
logical.
find
it's like, Yeah, and interesting to note they sold the Lord Ruler's
because
armbands, the braces, because they needed the resources.
And he also thinks about like that how they should have sold the beads that Kelsier left her as well. But then he realizes that he doesn't want to like give the ATM away to others to use, like potentially to harm him as well. So that makes sense.
And then we get what we discussed for the last chapter is that the ATM is becoming rarer and rarer, and I get the feeling that because of the weight of the warlords and all that, they will have burned through a lot of ATM in the last year, because Mistborn will have gone wild in assassinations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if this Mistborn and Detective Vin is any indication, noble Mistborn are not always skilled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Also,
They probably thing is they might. I feel like the crew, the 7 Mistings he had with him, were more skilled than the Mistborn,
that would make some sense, especially the
and it
thugs,
makes sense
definitely.
because a Mistborn, if a Mistborn normally has access to ATM, they're going to get overconfident.
Yeah, and Marsh even like in the last book said that Mistborn tend to rely on just one or two things, which makes them very easy to like, which makes them like very easy to fall prey to some of the other things that they might not know much about. Like they underestimate the other abilities, the other nuances that like someone like a Misting would know, which yeah makes sense that they'd be less skilled than someone the other Mistings. Anyway, Finn and Ellen then talk about his proposal to the assembly, given they rejected the last one. And Vin asks him to just do what he desires because he's the ruler, and Ellen says that doesn't work that way because he made sure.
What I love about it is that because he wants to work with the crew,
Mm-hmm.
and Vin's like, no, it will be too weak. You should trust yourself more. And I'm like, Finn.
You're the one saying it.
But I do like she's not completely wrong.
No. Mm-hmm.
But what I feel like is going on is that Ellen is king, and Vin is effectively the queen, even if she'll never recognize it.
Yeah.
The crew is the cabinet.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know they joked about Breeze being the minister of sanitation when all was done in the last book, but they would need ministers to run the realm. And then the assembly is just old stuffy men. I'm fully expecting it to be 24 old stuffy men elected by the Scar who have no clue what they're actually doing.
No, but that's the thing. I think what happened is, and I have not read the book. Like, I don't remember the book exactly what's happening. But what happened is, since Breeze, Toxin, and Spook are like, we know they are out on running their own errands, so they are not constantly in touch with Ellen. And the people who have been elected to the assembly are probably some of the more skilled, cunning ones. Like the general Scar populace knows nothing of like governance.
No, these are more like going to people like clubs.
Yeah. So if they have,
I'm actually kind of expecting it to be half, half nobility, half Scar.
Yeah, and if that is the case,
which would effectively make this a unicameral body, which is a combination between the House of Commons and the House of Lords.
Yeah, that would make sense. But in that case, every one of those, especially the nobility, have their own agendas to run. And if
we know this in the epilogue of the last book, we did learn that the nobility was already seeing Ellen as a useful pawn.
Yeah, and that's exactly why they don't really, they're not really looking. They're not really respecting Ellen's desires more so than they're trying to do their own
pretty
thing.
much.
Yeah.
They have no respect for him because why would they have respect for him?
Yeah.
Especially because Ellen was proclaimed king by the Scar, not the nobility.
Yeah, and that's also why some of them want to surrender, maybe want to go back to the way it was, because if the thing if the rule goes back to Straff, he'll again set up the discrimination between the Scar and the nobility, and then things will go back to how it was.
Yeah, we'll have to see, especially with who might be on this, if we get to see that, because I do feel like this is still an author who might avoid political situations.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway,
but we get a lovely Vin just casually saying like, the Lord Ruler was evil. You're good. Black and white. Vin, not everything is black and white.
Yeah, because even though Ellen is good, we have talked about this, that Ellen is naive. He's not. Again, he was very sheltered, so he doesn't know enough about the world to make these decisions on his own. And that's also why that's what he recognizes.
The thing is, that is exactly what a good king does. They listen to their advisors.
Yeah, and that's why he also set up the assembly to listen to them, to like work according to their wishes as well. Anyway, Ellen then goes back to work, thinking about the
Yeah.
contradictions that make
Well-
up Vin.
Especially when he smells something and
Yeah.
Vin has somehow put on perfume randomly.
Yeah,
And he's like,
which,
when did she do that?
yeah, especially given like the earlier last book when she was even running away from scented baths, and now she's putting on
Yeah, but
perfume.
by the end of it, she was getting used to it so much.
And now she
And
puts
it's
it
like,
on
this is
willingly.
actually kind of sweet. Like, this is kind of sweet.
Mhm.
Is that she's not doing it for anyone else.
No, I mean, even though it makes sense that she wouldn't do it while she's out doing her Mistborn duties, because then that is that is like a beacon to a tin eye. Because that sense of smell would definitely give her away. So it makes sense that she wouldn't do it outside, but inside also she's also only doing it for Ellen and no one else. Which,
yeah, and what I like is that Ellen wonders why she doesn't wear dresses and ball gowns anymore.
Mhm.
And it's like, I mean, the reason is pretty obvious. She doesn't see the point anymore.
yeah. I mean,
But the thing is, she was suspiciously comfortable in them near the end of the last book.
she associates ball gowns with balls, and now that there are no balls happening, she doesn't see the reason.
It's also, I think it's also the period when she was resting and she had to wear a dress every single day, in and out.
Yeah,
and I get the feeling she does not want to wear them constantly.
Yeah, but she is comfortable in those. We do know that, at least now.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see if she wears it.
I love the description of politics. Politics seems this simplistic compared to Vin.
That makes sense. I mean, he said that like twice in this chapter. First, when he talks about how women are very complicated, and now when politics is simpler than Vin.
Yes, but then we get this little thing where he tells Vin to get some rest, clearly indicating there's a bed here if you need to stay in the room.
Yeah, and she sleeps on the couch or whatever.
And she goes to sleep on the ground.
Yeah.
She goes to sleep on the rug next to his desk. And it's like, Vin.
Anyway. Yeah. Right then, Ham enters, who is apparently...
No. I want to point out that the one thing she doesn't do is tell him what happens during her battles.
Yes, that is true.
She will not show him her pain. She's still hiding that because she sees it as weakness, and she's afraid of her reaction Reen might have had to that.
Yeah. I mean, it'll take her time for her to completely open up to Ellen, obviously.
Yeah.
But
then Ham enters.
Yeah. Then Ham enters, who accepted the role of the captain of the guard only on the condition that he will not wear uniforms.
Yes, which is hilarious. What I then also love is that we learn the name of Ham's wife, and the fact that Ham's wife and children, obviously, and also are in the keep. They are in the palace.
Makes sense. I mean, makes sense that they'll
he brought them to the city, and I liked that. Ham feels safe enough to bring them in.
Yeah. Also, keeping them close. He has been away from his family for so many years at this point, so makes sense that he'll try to keep them close now.
What I love though is that Ham enters, and Vin obviously cracks an eye open just to see who it is. The second she knows it's Ham, she's relaxed again.
Yeah, makes sense. Then Ham talks about the assassins, and that they were actually Westerners, so not really from the dominance where Starventure is based. And then he tells Ellen that they were sent by a Lord Ashweather's set, who...
Well, I also... Yeah, it's... Oh, boy.
Right.
No, I want to point out that when I've forgotten this, is when Alan describing Vin, when the differences between Vin, he also mentioned she's paranoid, but she has a dogmatic loyalty to her friends.
Yeah.
Which we see here when Ham enters, and she immediately relaxes when she knows it's Ham.
Yeah, I mean, she worked with Ham for a year, and she feels safe in his presence, especially given we know that Ham really looked after her multiple injuries. So makes sense.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, but then we get the name Ashweather says something. Really?
I mean that. Yeah, feels like a name.
That's the most on-the-nose name anyone could have in this world.
Yeah, pretty much.
The weather is always ashy in this world.
Maybe it's not in the Eastern Dominance or Western Dominance, wherever it's from.
Western dominance. Yeah, I do like the we get the thing of they are they're from Frederick's city. And Gardre and Conrad, which is an interesting one. With Gardre, that's very clearly a French name.
Yeah.
And Conrad, I mean, Conrad is a much more Germanic name.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a mix of names.
But then we get the name of where the adventures are based from, and it's Orto, and all the naming, the regional naming thing, go out of the window again.
Yeah, because
Orto could very much be French based.
Yeah, it's very mixed here and there. It's fine. We know that the culture of at least this empire has been and it's also has been on a pause for 1,000 years.
I mean, they all speak the same language, which is not going to make things diverse.
Yeah, which
there are regional differences. We know that, but it's going to make it worse because it's enforced.
Yeah. So if you allow it to develop organically, then it will definitely differentiate.
Yes.
But anyway,
Ashwether is one of the Western kings.
Yeah, he styles himself king of the Western dominance.
No, he's not even of the Western dominance. He's just one of the kings in the Western dominance.
Anyway.
Which indicates that he might control the biggest city in the West.
That will make sense. Ham tries to be the optimist, saying at least they were not sent by Starventure. But Ellen says that he will eventually send assassins if he doesn't get the city.
Yeah, and Ham immediately goes into philosophy and
no, not
please don't. But we also get this lovely thing of the reason why Ashwether will have sent assassins into the city. The ATM.
Yeah, so
everyone assumes they have Ellen has the ATM.
Yeah, and I think it's only the people in Luthadel and even in the nobility who know that there is.
Even then, I have a feeling the assembly probably doesn't know about the missing ATM.
But they would expect then a lot of resources that they are not really gaining.
Maybe, but the problem is it's how much was it?
Yeah.
The problem is that's gonna make them more likely to surrender.
Yeah, pretty much.
So.
Yeah, and then we learned that the surrender faction is growing, so it makes sense. Yeah, and then Ham makes a joke at Ellen's expense, saying that at least they're not fighting an all-powerful god and his priests, when Ellen mentions his own woes and worries. And yeah, that's how the chapter ends. With with a tiny epigraph just saying that the author basically saying his name that he's
the only thing there's only two things of note here. It's the name of the author, it's Kwan, and we learn the name of the
Hero of Ages,
and it's Alandi.
Yeah.
That's the only thing important here.
Yeah.
So
we basically know the three names that are important in the past. Kwan, who discovered Alandi being the supposed Hero of Ages, and Rashek, who ended up being the Lord Ruler.
The Lord Ruler. Yeah. But that was that.
Yeah.
Good 3 chapters, and I'm glad we did the first three, especially because of that last epigraph. I don't need to speculate.
Yeah. I mean, we have.
It makes my life a little easier.
We have plenty to speculate further.
Yeah, we have the question of where Caesar, because he's not even mentioned, which is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, we have yet to see the other people. We have only met with Ham.
Well, the thing is, we know of the status of the rest of the crew effectively. We don't need much mention of Marsh to know that Marsh is probably in the city.
Probably, yeah, doing his own things, I think.
But we don't have a single mention of Caesar, and that is surprising.
I mean, we do know that he went to his own people.
He was planning on going north to the Terrace Lands. So he probably went there, and it would take him a while.
Yeah, I mean,
but
the immediate threat is that of Starventure, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. We have the entire thing with the mist. the Mist Ghost, as we're just gonna call it for now.
Mist Ghost, yeah.
We have the Watcher.
The Watcher, yeah.
Nemo, stop smirking like that.
No, it's fine.
So we have we have the whole thing of what will the assembly do?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna get interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else?
No,
Okay.
pretty much that's it.
Yeah. Well, see you next time with the next 2 chapters. Bye bye.
Bye bye.